What is the first thing to consider when we're going to design a system for a boat?
Oh, first thing probably is going to be your electrical system, honestly.
Yep.
You know, if you've got a 35 horse outboard, if it's got any kind of charging system on it, it's probably a little magneto flywheel charger. You've got a finite amount of current, all the way up to a big twin engine stern drive that maybe has, 150, 200 amp alternators. Two different systems can be built based upon those charging parameters.
So we often talk about rules of thumb. If a consumer, a guy out there is saying, okay, I want to build a system, I don't even know if I can add amplifiers or not. Is there a rule of thumb that we can apply to that guy?
Boy, when you throw something out there like that, you hang yourself up to fail, but let me try.
Sure.
I like to think that for a given charging system on a boat, if you've got 100 amps charging, you probably want to utilize 50 of it, utilize about half of it.
Maybe half, yeah.
And I'm flying here, and I'm questioning myself
okay.
as we
That's
say
okay.
it.
Well, because you have the brain of an engineer. I have the brain of a consumer. So I need simple stuff, Phil.
Yep.
So one of the things we like to talk about, and kind of jumping ahead a little bit, is our KMC5, KMC6 has an onboard 6-channel Class D amplifier. And so for a boat that has a minimal charging system, this is a great source unit because it'll power 12 speakers without adding an additional amplifier. So for the guy or girl that has a smaller charging system, this is the best head unit.
It'd be ideal. You could run 6 speakers in a boat just off that head unit. You can run 12 speakers on the boat.
Yeah.
It works really well.
So we're talking about charging systems, batteries. Now, a lot of folks seem to think that all you need to do is have a whole bunch of batteries.
Right.
What do you need to go with those batteries?
You certainly need an alternator. And the way I like to talk about it, you need a charging system.
Charging system.
An alternator or an onboard built-in power source that you plug in every night. If we think about the battery and you make the analogy of it being like a pond, if you've got a really good pond, big pond, you've got a lot of water. But the reality is if you're pulling that water out, if you're draining down your battery, if you're draining down that pond, you've got to refill it either with a pump or a windmill or something, and you've got a pipe. The pump and the windmill and the pipe are your charging source, be it an onboard charger or that alternator. And to me, you need to build your system based around your charging capabilities. If you just build it based upon a big group of batteries, it's like draining the pond down and you're like, uh-oh, I've got to refill my pond and I got that little pump and it's going to take a week. So that's a good way to think of it.
Just like car audio, if you've got a big bank of lithium batteries, lithium cells, you still have to charge those somehow.
Right.
So you got to have the charging system to back up the reservoir that you've designed for your audio system.
Correct.
So, okay, electrical system. So we've decided, okay, I've got the correct electrical system. What's the next consideration?
I think you drag out your wallet and you look at your budget, and then you double it inevitably.
Yes.
Because you say, I want to do it for $5,000, and then, no, set a realistic budget, do some shopping, get an idea what things cost, get an idea for what the things you want cost, add it all up, and then the thing that a lot of people forget about, tack on 30, 40, sometimes 60% of that budget for the gear, for your radios, for your amplifiers, because you got to wire that up, and wire can be a significant part of that system.
That's a good point. I'm going to grab this this fancy wire here. A lot of folks don't know that in marine we've got different colors. Phil, what's up with the colors here?
Well, red is easy. That's your primary B plus 12 volt positive conductor. Now the yellow wire, we make this in yellow as opposed to black. This is our DC negative, DC ground, not to be confused with a bonding circuit. But we do the yellow wire for the B minus, or the ground wire to your amplifier. The reason being, in a lot of instances, you've got boaters who are using their boats in and out of a marina.
Okay.
And those guys are going to have shore power. They're plugging their boat into basically a wall socket.
AC.
Yes. And anybody that's been around AC wiring, and if they've had the receptacle out to change it or add a circuit, we know that the black wire on an AC circuit is actually the positive 110 volt conductor. And so what we really want to avoid by having this wire yellow is keep the guy from accidentally going in there and getting a hold of 110 volts positive, thinking that that's a ground wire on a boat.
Very good. So, and this comes down from ABYC, NMMA, and MEA.
Correct.
That's all part of that.
Primarily the ABYC. They actually, if you Google or whatever search engine you use, look it up. There are ABYC color codes that clearly line all this stuff out.
Now, it's important to understand that if you're doing your own installation, do not use car audio fuses in the marine environment. Bad. You want to be sure you're using something like we just showed you on our website. And if you have questions about it, go to our website, take a look at it, or of course you can always talk to our tech support guys.
Yeah. The marking on all these things, if you're looking for an ignition protected overcurrent device, it's going to say SAE J1171 or 1117. I've slept. Anyway, SAE J1117 or 1171, and then marine in capital letters. That marking lets you know that the device you're going to throw in your boat that you're counting on safety, it's ignition protected.